So, hey guys, welcome back to La Bóveda Podcast, where we explore forgotten corridors of fear and the stories behind the screams and the creators who give life to the darkness in the games that we love. Today, we descend into the cultic depths of Inherited Shadows, a psychological horror that drags us through fractured memories, family secrets, and the haunting inheritance of trauma. Developed by Montserrat Interactive, this game promises a descent not just into fear, but into the parts of ourselves we try to bury. Let's open that vault. And today we have the developer here from Inheriting Shadows. Now, you can present yourself if you want, bro?
Hey, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Mainly because Inherited Shadows is still, like a bit unknown for the public. Like, I just opened a Twitter account a month ago, but so far the reception has been so good.
It's awesome.
That makes me really happy. But yeah, this idea basically started 5 years ago, I guess. It was in the middle of the COVID lockdown.
Oof.
Yeah, we had so much free time at home
Oh yeah.
that I was going crazy because I didn't know what to do. So I stopped to think. So hey, what if I learn something new? Oh,
Oh
by the way, I'm a 3D artist. I've been a 3D artist for almost 10 years.
wow.
But back then, I just I only knew how to make 3D art. I didn't know how to program. I barely used a game engine. So during the lockdown, I said like, "Hey, let's learn something new. Let's find something useful of all this mess all over the world." And that's when I decided to start a course on game programming.
That's awesome.
And that
That's
was
awesome.
like on April 2020. And by the end of the year, well, I was not a pro already, but I had a solid knowledge. And then I said, okay, now I know how to 3D model. I know the basics of programming. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do a game. And I remember that the advice I got from some friends was that cool, but start small. Start with something simple. And I said, that's cool, but screw that, because I like to dream big. And I
Yes.
imagine big a big game. And that's where Inaria's Shadows started.
That's a great story, bro. And it's so good that you mentioned, like, because I am a firm believer that you can do whatever you set your mind to. And one of the things that I just like you, you know, had a couple of friends like, hey Joe, just start, you're streaming, start playing whatever it's on, it's on the wave, whatever everybody's playing. And I did that like for a couple months and I was like, this is not what I want to do. I wanna create a community. I wanna build in on survival horror. And then we came back after a lot of episodes. People that follow me for a long time know about it, and here we are. I started this concept by just let me talk with a few guys just to pick their brains and see what's happening. And now we have a full blown podcast, and we have incredible guests. And now we have a website that is going to launch on Saturday that I'm excited to, because I think it's going to be a great help to the survival horror community, not only to the community, to the audience and the players, but to developers, voice actors, sound engineers, all the people that are behind the game. So it's gonna be great. I was
Yeah.
people told me to dream small, and I never do that. I'm always like, this is what I want to do, and I cling to that, and I crawl, and until I get it done. So I can appreciate that. So
Yeah.
let's talk
Same
about
here.
a little bit about Inherited Shadows, and you already told us what was that initial spark. But is there any personal story or a specific influence behind Amanda's journey?
Yeah. So based on what you can read on the Steam store page, you can see that Amanda is a young adult with a she's struggling to try to move on with her life, because her mother abandoned her where she was when she was just a child. Luckily, is not based on a personal experience, because my
Okay.
mother never did that to me.
Yeah, it's
My
good.
mother has been a great mother, compared to Amanda's mother, who's a terrible mother. Uh, so the idea behind the story is like, like personal thoughts about what could be a great story, but also a mix between two movies I really like. And one of them is, I don't know if you have watched it. It's called End of Days by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Great movie.
It's an yeah, it's an amazing movie. And the idea of setting the game in 1999 comes partially from that movie,
Yeah.
because that movie, like says that every 1,000 years the devil comes to Earth to try to impose
Yeah. The end
his
of days.
kingdom
Yep.
of evil. Yep. And that's where I got the inspiration to set the game on the late 90s. Um, but also, there's another movie called Hereditary. I think
Oof.
it,
My
it
God.
released like 4 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
I think
That's one of
that
the
that
holy grails of of modern horror.
yeah, I completely agree, because like of 100% of movies, like only 10% are good, and that's
Yes.
one of them.
It's
Definitely.
definitely.
Yeah. So
It's
the
a in that
story was
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add that in that line, Hereditary and Midsummer. They're like they're such great movies. It's just there's something that reminds me of the writing in the video games that I love. And it's great that you have those like end of day. I mean, bro.
Yeah, those are amazing movies, especially for Hereditary, because it's a deep experience on how your family can have dark secrets.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, and that's the case of Amanda, because she will find out some twisted, evil, spooky secrets when she try to find out um, who her mother is.
Hmm. This is interesting because my next question was gonna be like that concept of inheritance like runs deep through the title, and it's emotional, psychological, and maybe spiritual. How do you use gameplay to represent those layers of trauma and legacy? If we can get something for that.
Yeah, sure. So basically, a lot of stuff is going on Amanda's mind, because, as I said, she was abandoned as a child. She grew at foster care. Then she later moved on with her life, do her business, try to live a normal life. But throughout all those years, although her mother was not present in her life, she knew where Amanda was. So she kept sending letters to Amanda, letting her know that she was okay, that she hopes Amanda is doing well, but asking Amanda to not to look for her. So this created in Amanda some sort of hate towards her mother, because she always felt guilty about being abandoned. Like
Yeah.
she constantly asked herself, what did I do wrong to deserve this? Why didn't she love me? And although she tries to switch places, she tries to live in different places. Somehow her mother uh, finds out where she's living and keeps sending letters. And like at some point, Amanda just wants to get rid of that, and just have a normal life. And all of this trauma, because of her mother somehow torturing her with the letters, creates some bizarre thoughts on her mind. So I think that a twisted mind, in this case, in the main protagonist, is what creates that connection between the psychological horror on the game.
It's
Not
great.
not 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 from the monsters you may encounter, not from the enemies, but on the main protagonist's mind.
That's the perfect setting for mix, like back in the day, like we did it with Silent Hill. It's the survival horror mechanics and that feeling, but then you have the psychological horror part, which Silent Hill 2 is known and one as the father of psychological horror. It's very
Yeah,
appealing to me as a fan and to the community, the guys on La Bóveda, which they always are in. They agree with me that in order for me to justify mechanics in the game or to justify something that maybe this doesn't fit the genre, it needs to go with the character development. If it makes sense from a character development and you're telling a story either through gameplay, notes, scattered, cinematics, whatever you want to do, I'm in. And I think one of the greatest examples. I've been saying this like in the past three podcasts, but it's because I can't get it out of my mind. It's Silent Hill F. It has a deep
Oh,
story.
beautiful.
Everybody is throwing so much dirt on it because oh, it's a Souls games, this and that. And then when you get to the end, I'm not gonna spoil the game, guys, but when you get to the end, you see the ending, then everything makes sense. And it's like, oh, this is why we're having that boss rush. You know, with all the bosses coming in all the time. It's like, oh, now it makes sense because it's tied to the character development. But if you're a gamer and you don't finish the game or don't try it or don't like, you don't get to experience maybe what we went through when we were playing it. But this that you're saying, it gives me the at least it gives me the hope that your game is gonna have that heavy character development, which usually turns out into a great game with a great story. And that's what I'm a fool for that.
Yeah, thanks. And I've been putting so much effort and so much work on achieving a great story, and that you say like having an impact on the mere ending on the story is something I really like, and I would really like for Inherited Shadows.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, yes, it's cool to have character development through the gameplay, but I think that it's also good and even some sort of a reward for the player
Oh
if
yeah.
everything makes sense when the game is ending.
Yes. That sense of you don't know what the hell is happening, and then at the end it all unglues, and you're like it blows your head. Kind of like I went through it with Chronos. Just it's Chronos and New Dawn.
Oh,
It's that game, bro. You get to the end and you're like, holy fuck, it's so good. So I think the Steam page you've been mentioning, it describes the enemies as relentless and the choices as life or death. So how do you approach designing the tension without overwhelming the player? Maybe.
mm, well, first of all, uh, I don't want the player to ever feel safe. You know,
Great.
uh, for example, in Resident Evil, you have these save rooms,
Yeah.
and especially I like to mention Resident Evil 7 because for me it was a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it is.
Uh, and there was something about the save rooms that was so relaxing, so peaceful, so soothing. Uh, Although I like the concept, I don't want that on my game because I want you to feel the tension every moment. But of course, I don't want to like suffocate the player with constant combat, with constant danger. So I think that I'm avoiding overwhelming the player, but creating a spooky and eerie environment that you know you're in danger, but you don't know when danger is going to happen.
That's perfect. Yeah. It's called. I don't know if you're familiar with. Well, actually, these movies were the trigger behind psychological horror. Are you familiar with Jacob's Ladder? Right? Have you seen Jacob's Ladder? No.
No, I'm not
I
sure.
I
No.
would encourage you to like. I can send you a link. Uh, just watch that movie. That movie is the main inspiration for Silent Hill, and
Okay.
it's that movie and Hellraiser. Those movies,
Oh, yeah.
they have this thing called imperfect horror, and imperfect horror is a thing. It's a thing within the horror genre, and it's this. I think the best way to describe it is you never got that feeling when you were watching Hellraiser and all the twisted stuff that it's happening, right? That you're like, why am I watching this? You feel you
Yeah.
feel you feel like guilty, like this. I'm not supposed to be watching this. It's so uncomfortable. There's a very thin line between that imperfect horror, which is I don't know if you get that what I'm saying, but Silent Hill is built upon that because you know
Okay.
everybody knows what abstract daddy represents. Everybody knows it, but it's like it's there. I don't have to tell you a lot, you know. And it's
Yeah.
that thing between the psychological horror that if you're building up a character development base with a heavy psychological background like that, you don't have to be scaring the guy all the time. because
Yeah, exactly.
while you're exploring, that thing is here and you're like, oh my god, this is, and the game makes you feel so much. This is what I love about the survival horror genre as a whole. It's like there's so many emotions and you can switch back and forth between them, and then that sensation of reward at the end is great. So many horror games, they focus on external fear, right? Monsters, darkness, the survival aspect. Inherited Shadows feels far more internal, right? And we're talking about you balancing that psychological horror with the traditional gameplay mechanics. Is there anything aside from you want them to feel in constant danger that maybe you can give us a glimpse of something that you feel like it's fresh in this game?
Well, I am working really hard for the player to have a strong connection with Amanda
Okay.
because, yeah, the fear comes from external factors that the player cannot control, such as enemies or dangers lurking in the dark. But I also want to create fear of, like whatever could happen to Amanda. Not
Okay.
just like I'm afraid of dying, but I am afraid of Amanda dying. I'm afraid of Amanda not reaching her goal. So I don't know, that's not something so new on horror genre,
Yeah.
because it's really important to create a connection with the character. But in my case, I think I'm making that my priority.
Okay.
Like really caring for the character.
That's good. There's a cult in the game, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
I love cult themes in games. Because I feel like there's a connection between kind of like protesting some stuff from our history in it, that it's great because it touches those dark corners that nobody wants to talk about. So the cool themes in the game seem to be exploring faith and corruption. So were there any specific real world or maybe fictional influences behind this portrayal?
Well, I'm not so based on real world.
Okay.
Like I said before, everything comes from the main character mind. Like all the fear she's feeling, all the feelings towards her mother, like hate, loneliness, hopelessness. So I think that's the mix of feelings that I want to give in the experience during the gameplay.
Right? Because she's not a superhuman protagonist, right? She's vulnerable.
Yeah,
Every,
exactly.
everything is uncertain. So, when I can imagine that maybe you know you're hoping that the players can make emotional connection with her to the gameplay. That's great. That's a great goal. I love when they do that because I played this year a very this game is not, I think Final Fall is the yeah, Final Fall.
Okay.
Bro, that game messed up my head so bad because of that. Because I created a connection with the character and she was a schizophrenic patient. And you're
Okay.
and you're seeing all of this stuff happening in her head, and then you're seeing from the other side what's happening in real world, and then at the end you realize what happened. And it gave me that feeling that Silent Hill did when I played it the first time, and I realized that James did what he did to his wife. And I remember that messed up my entire week. I was like, "Oh my god, that game is so good."
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had that feeling, and actually, I interviewed the dev. The interview is in the channel, and I think it's a great game. More people should play that game. That game's great. You use light and shadow.
Yeah.
There's a use of light and shadow that appears that it's going to be like integral to the atmosphere. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I took from it. Can you talk about how your visual design helps tell the story or maybe reflect Amanda's inner state?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like any horror game should have dark spots, even be played, at night during on the game. But if you watch the trailer, there are some parts that, as you say, have like daytime light. So I want to like deliver experience where fear not only comes from darkness. And I'm very familiar with there was a viral video that appeared on YouTube a few years ago, and that's the back rooms.
Oh yeah.
And the back rooms made us feel this nostalgic vibe. Although everything, I mean, there was no so many dark spots, but the liminal spaces make us feel nostalgic.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's something I also aiming on the game.
So when you describe the game as a mature, maybe tackling disturbing themes and symbolism, right? How do you handle such dark material while keeping it meaningful and maybe maybe not, I don't want to say not crossing the line, because I think that in this time that we live, sometimes it's necessary crossing the line to make a statement, especially if it's a topic that I feel it needs to be screamed out. And I'm gonna open a quote unquote in there, maybe a parenthesis, and I'm gonna give you the example of maybe Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose. Those games are they're hallmarks in survival horror history. They're great games, but their topics are very controversial, right? And people are slandering these games. Some people feel like these games shouldn't have existed, and the people that play and think they're great, they're bad people, whatever. But I think that if you kind of think about it, these games came out in the early 2000s, and Hollywood was not addressing a lot of these issues like it's openly doing today with new cinema. And maybe it was like indie movies or indie films, and it was not being said out loud like it's nowadays. So I thought that games back in the day were just screaming these things, like this protest, like this happens every day. Like there's
Yeah.
people held hostage. There's like people actually being held against their will, and this stuff happens in real life. So I don't know. Just with that, closing that parenthesis, do you think that dark material will you still be able to keep it meaningful to your story?
Okay, this is
It's
a tough one
Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah,
because I have also my examples of crossing the line, uh,
yeah.
especially with one game that is not survival horror, but it came out in 2014 and it was Hatred.
Oh,
Oh,
oh my God.
that was that was a
Yeah.
huge, controversial game.
Oh yeah.
Um, but somehow it became so popular. People really loved it because, yeah, I mean, you have to be mature enough to distinguish between fictional world and the real world.
Yeah.
And of course, using a controversial topic in your game does not necessarily mean that you're going to replicate that in real life.
Exactly.
For example, another horror game I really love, and that is I took things of it for Inherited Shadows, mainly on the death scenes, was Dead Space.
Awesome.
That I think it was controversial, a bit controversial on the time it came out around 2008, because the gory of the deaths and the explicit of the content,
Yeah.
like made a huge impact on the audience. But it
Right.
was a game changer.
It was. Yeah.
It was a game.
It was.
So I think that
The dismember mechanics were great.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that crossing the line is not bad as long as you know how to handle it, and of course that you do not take things that could I don't know, maybe religious symbolism that's very important to some part of the people and stuff like that.
So the sound design in a psychological horror game or a survival horror game is crucial. So, what was your process for creating the game's audio landscape, and how does it feed? Sorry, how does it feed the player's anxiety or immersion?
Okay, well, I'm still working on that. Yeah, it's a crucial pillar on every survival horror game because sometimes you have to know when to balance, like atmosphere sound and music. Because maybe a spooky music could ruin the the environment feeling,
Yes.
or the other way around. So maybe I do not have an final answer for this because, as I say, I'm still working on that. Maybe the answer is that a suggestion is that you should know, depending on the level or depending on the area the player is, you should know how to properly implement sounds, music, and environments. To create different scary feelings.
Do you have any plans for adding voices, or is this going to be a text game?
No, we sorry. I currently have voices.
Okay.
I said we because I currently have two voice actresses hired,
Okay. That's good.
and she are amazing. One is giving the voice to Amanda. The other one is giving the voice to the mother. And I'm planning on hiring more voice actors. So yeah, it will have voices.
That's awesome. So, just because I want to get this clear for myself, memory and reality, it seems to blur out through the narrative, right? How do you approach that storytelling to ensure players question what's real and what's not?
Oh, I love this one because in some part of the game, uh, well, you can clearly distinguish what's real from what's not. But sometimes Amanda's mind is so cruel with her that you could be walking on the real world, and suddenly you are transported into a creepy scenario made by Amanda's mind. So it will be clear whether when you're on a real scenario and an imaginary scenario.
It's cool. I like that. I like that because you know that I don't like losing emotional grounding when I'm playing something, but sometimes you need to be able to break through that just to create that um that I don't know. It's just like it feels like a shock, right? Like you're like playing, let's say you're in the real world and then all of a sudden you don't know if you are or not, like what's happening. And those moments they create, I think they have created one of the greatest moments in psychological horror history. It's for example, you remember when let's go back to the first one. Remember Silent Hill 1 when Harry Mason is walking, right?
Yep.
And he sees the first shadow and he goes like Cheryl, and then it goes away, and when you go in appears the I don't know how to call it right now because I don't want to piss off one of my friends who's probably going to be watching this because I always told him as a kid like this is a pterodactyl but it's a demon. It's like no, it's a represent actually it's a representation of one of Harry's fears when he was a kid. That's what Silent Hill does to people, and that moment comes back at the end of the game, and it's so good. Like everything, when you realize that his adoptive daughter was the reincarnation of Alessa, and it all ties in. And I don't know if it happened to you, but most of the people recall the first thing that hits you when you realize what's happening is that first encounter with her daughter, that shadow, because it's like that setup that was telling you everything from the beginning. It's so good. So
Yeah, definitely.
you did you play Silent Hill 1? I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. I have played most of them,
Yeah.
not all. Of course, I have played the first one, the second one. Uh, I have not played the fourth, which I know it's one of the best. I must play it. And I have played, like the latest ones, Downpour,
Yeah. Homecoming.
Homecoming. Yeah,
Origins.
yeah. So no, I haven't played that one, but I really like the concept of bringing your fears in the form of enemies.
Yes.
And on the store page of Inherited Shadows, I described that it has inspiration of the on the classics of the genre, mainly because of that. Because I really like the concept of grabbing the character's fears and transforming it into danger for the player.
So good.
Hmm.
It's so good. I think Silent Hill 1 set the base, but then Silent Hill 2 just elevated to a whole nother level. Because you have all those characters in there, and not only that, like recent games. I always mention games that are good. You know, like Signalis is one of those games that blew my head off.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a beautiful game.
Hmm.
Crow Country was good. If you want to talk about psychological horror, Martha is Dead is a great game.
Oh, amazing.
The Medium. The Medium made me
Yeah.
feel so much stuff. Since the moment it began, that game went straight to the heart. It's great. And I don't know, Bluebird Team. I remember they talking about we're finally making a good game when they were working on Silent Hill 2 and then Chronos. And I'm like, what the hell are you the guys talking about? Like, you know, the Blair Witch was a great game. The Medium was a great game. Layers of Fear is a great game.
Hmm. Did you play Song of Horror?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Song of Horror.
That's one of my favorites because it has the perfect example of making a connection with the characters
I have
because of the
a
permadeath.
I have a European copy because the you know, the North America copy is just stupidly expensive. But I have the European copy, and since games now they're not closed region, it's great because you can buy the Japanese version from the PlayStation 3 forward, and it will play on any console. So that's great too. I don't know if you guys are watching know that, but if you're wanting a game that it's super expensive, it's expensive because not enough quantities were printed maybe on America or whatever the version that you need. So just search for it on a different version. It's like I just gave up a little secret there. So from a developer's perspective, what moment or scene that you have worked so far in Inherited Shadow still gives you chills or even countless it required you countless playtest or go through?
Yeah, there's particularly one. I was planning, and here comes a little secret about the game. I was planning to go and release a demo on the next fest that's currently
Happening?
uh, still yeah, happening. But I decided to quit and wait until next fest on June next year. And it was that demo that requires so many hours of playing, so many work, so many polishing, because it takes place in the middle of the story, and I put so much effort on the cinematics and on the environment and everything that's happening there. So I think that's currently, because I haven't finished the game, but that's currently the part that whenever I play it, I get goosebumps. You
It's
know,
awesome.
yeah, it's so chilly. So I'm very excited about people playing it.
So the game features multiple endings. So without giving spoilers, right? How do your the player choices influence Amanda's fate and maybe the themes of acceptance, denial, and maybe all this trauma that we've been talking about?
Well, the fact of multiple endings is still on the works,
Okay,
uh, because, as you say, it depends on many decisions of the player.
that's great.
Um, but if I come to the idea of making multiple endings, I don't know. It's because I can give many details right now of the decisions that will determine which ending you get. But I can only say that they will be, uh, like game changers during the story.
Awesome. So you have the game slated for 2026, right? Do
Yeah,
you plan to release the demo in 2026, or are your plans to releasing the full game in 2026?
both. Yeah,
Both. Okay.
I'm releasing the demo on June for the next fest, maybe a bit earlier, so people can play it before the next fest. And hopefully, if everything works fine, the game will be coming out in October.
Sounds good. That's awesome. That's the best time to release a horror game. If someone
Yeah,
came to you,
spooky month.
yeah, it's a spooky month, bro. And this month was packed. This year it was packed.
Oh,
I mean, the whole year
yeah.
has been packed, right? But October was special, and it's still undergoing, and we still have, I don't know. There's a couple of games coming out. I think there's a Fleshmade Fear comes out the 31st. I don't know if the guys from Echoes of the Living are gonna release something, but I heard that they may be launching something before October ends. We have Tormented Souls. We already had like this. It's going. It's going. October is going.
Yeah. No, I think this has been a golden year
Oh yeah,
for indie horror game.
the
There was a
Lacerator came out
particular.
too. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's amazing. The Lacerator, well, Tormented Soul, it's not out yet, but I'm
yeah.
really looking forward to it. There was a game, Post Trauma.
Oh my god.
Did you play it? Yeah,
You know what?
amazing.
It's I had a interesting conversation with Capita, which I'm gonna be recording our autopsy after this. Um, it's he's a he's my one of my best friends, and he happens to be a psychologist. And I have this format on a podcast that we analyze games. I bring gaming history, and I kind of like, I've been analyzing games for so long that I like the psychological aspect. So I brought him in, and he brings the that clinical side, right? And we analyze, character, story, and the whole thing. We're gonna be analyzing Silent Hill F tonight. So
Amazing.
yeah, he always tells that exactly that. It's just, oh man, it's I don't know how to put this into words basically, but I think the people that have been following the content can tell this type of games and everything that surrounds it's very special for me. I hold it very dearly, and I have come to have the opportunity to create a community based on a slogan which is hashtag el gaming salva vidas, which is gaming saves lives. And that was the base of La Bóveda when we started. Of course, the name is La Bóveda because I had this small closet where I started streaming, and it was just filled with figures and games, and it was like a little vault, and we call it La Bóveda. And each game had a folded piece of paper with what I thought of the game in it, and this is how all this concept started. Very old school Joe. I'm just writing there or something so I don't forget, and then I come back the next time I'm gonna play the game. I open it, and it's there. It's like, oh, maybe I changed my mind on the second gameplay. It's different. So
Yeah.
let's say one of the players, right after the game comes out, someone came to you and said, "Inherited Shadows made me confront my own fears more than I expected." What would that mean to you?
Mission accomplished.
It's, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's the main idea.
I think we're getting to that final stretch here. So let's start with La Bóveda quick fire questions with nobody answers quick. Um, what's your favorite? I think this has been said already, but just for the record, what's your favorite psychological horror game of all time?
Well, actually, I have two. As I mentioned before, Dead Space. It's my favorite so far. But the one that made me fell in love with horror games, and mainly with fixed camera angle games, was, and it's an old school game that I think most people don't know, was called Curse the Eye of Isis.
Oh,
It
that
was
game.
for, oh, you know it.
Yes,
Oh, amazing.
that
That
game.
makes me happy.
I wrote an article for it on the page that's gonna launch. That game is
Oh,
so good.
it's so good. I have to check out your article then.
Yeah, so good, so good.
Yeah, those two are top notch for me.
Yes, yes, and it's. Do you had the chance to play? I think this is showing our age a little bit, but do you had a chance to play the Blair Witch PC games that came out on the 2000s?
Yeah, Blair Witch. Yeah, of course.
So good.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Yeah,
So, do you prefer slow burn dread or shocking terror?
shocking terror, definitely.
So, what's scarier for you, losing your memory or losing your faith? It's a hard one, right?
Oh, yeah, that's when it's a tough one. Losing my memory or losing my faith. I think I'd rather. I don't know. I would say that losing my memory. But I'm not so sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah, tough one.
If Inherited Shadows had a tagline, something, a tagline reading on a church wall, what would it say?
Um, I have thought about this once, and I already forgot it. Like I would let people decide it.
Decided? That's cool, man. Hey,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time, man. It's been a great talk. I really enjoy this. I'm really looking forward to your game. As I say, everybody that comes to the show, it's a game that I would play because I really want to be able to share this with the audience. And I saw your game, and this is perfect. Fits perfect for the community, and not only for the community. Just to put it out there, now this has overgrown La Boveda. Now we have the survivalhorror.com, and I want people that actually don't necessarily consume my content be able to have access to this kind of information about indie games. So we're rooting for you. If there's anything that you will want to say to the audience and the people watching, the microphone is yours.
Hey, no. First of all, thank you for the space. Like for us indie developers, like spots like this are gold. Gold for the people to know our games, to know our work, to know our projects. And for the potential fans for Inherited Shadows, just know that every day I'm putting a lot of love and passion on the game. For that, when it comes out, I hope that all of you will enjoy it. And thank you so much, Joe, for inviting me to La Boveda.
That what you said right there, the same way you said mission accomplished, this is mission accomplished. I just want to be able to be a vector, a connection between the developers and the audience, so people discover more games. One of the more things that people come and ask me while I'm streaming is, oh, what's this game? How do you find out about this game? How do you know about these releases? Well, the information is out there, but there's, like, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that are not good finding information. Even though we have now we have AI, we have Google. There's people that can nail to find the games that they like. So I'm gonna make that accessible. You're gonna be able to go in there, read a description, be what's the game about, see the trailer, see how important the game it is, and maybe get to land on the developer page. I don't know. Stay tuned. And again, thanks for your time. Until the next time.
Okay, thank you so much. Until the next time.